Hey everybody, welcome to the Hamakua Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany. Today is a very rainy, soggy day, as it has been for a couple of weeks now. So my coworker gifted me a turkey. She was cleaning out her freezer and had an extra turkey. So last night we had that for dinner, and what are we gonna do with it now? Make broth. This is what we are looking like right now. There's quite a bit of meat left on here and all the veggies and all the broth. So all I'm gonna do right now is stick it all in a pot with some water and let it boil down. I should correct myself. I do not have all of the juices in here. I definitely took a lot out and made gravy for last night. It was like a little mini Thanksgiving. So the only thing left to do for right now is to go ahead and fill this pot with water, just enough to cover the contents. Turns out that just enough to cover the contents is about the entire pot. I don't know how big in measurements this pot is, but it's about like that big. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat on. I am going to walk away for several hours, checking on it periodically, and I'll bring you back when something exciting happens. Our broth has been soft boiling for somewhere between 5 and 6 hours. So now we're gonna go ahead and get started with canning it up. By the way, it smells divine. To begin that process, we are going to strain out all of our big chunks. And since we are dealing with really hot broth, I know I shouldn't be using a plastic bowl, but I didn't have an option. I'm gonna go ahead and get our canner started so it can get started warming up, so we can put our hot broth inside of a hot canner. Make sure you remember to have your rack in your canner so that you don't have your jar sitting on the bottom of the pot. That is not good. While that's heating up, all we gotta do is strain out our broth into our jars. You could choose to use a cheesecloth to get out some of the butter and the fat that was in the turkey, but I am not doing that today. I'm just getting out the big chunks, leaving in all that goodness. So we have our 7 jars of our beautiful broth all filled up. I have extra over there, probably a little more than a quart, so I'll just go ahead and throw that in the refrigerator and we'll use that up soon. So now it's time to get these jars cleaned up and sealed. I'm using white distilled vinegar to clean the rims of our jars. I don't want any of that fat to be left on there, and the vinegar helps cut through the fat. Put our lid on top and our ring fingertip tight, not too tight, not too loose. I'm gonna grab my jar grabber and we put it right into the canner. We're just gonna repeat that process for the rest of these 7 jars. All right, they're all tucked inside the canner. Now it's time to go ahead and put on the lid. So to get ready to put our lid onto our All-American, we need to make sure to do our safety check. We need to make sure that this edge right here is somewhat greasy. It's greasy enough. We want to make sure that our plugs are all in place. Make sure we can see daylight through this little hole here. And on we go. Line up the arrows. Make sure that one side is not tipped too much than the other side. Both ways. Looks good. Just placing our wing nuts, not tightening them just yet. Now we'll go ahead and tighten them going opposites, just like lug nuts on a tire. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and let this come up to temperature. And when we know it's time for the next step, this guy right here is gonna start spewing steam. All right, so our steam vent is steadily spewing steam. I'm gonna go ahead and set our timer for 10 minutes. Let all of the air vent out of the machine for a full 10 minutes. Our 10 minutes is up. Now we're gonna go ahead and put our weight on. I am at 15 pounds of pressure at my elevation. Be sure to check yours. This is what it's gonna look like when it is up to pressure. So we're just gonna go ahead and set our timer now for 30 minutes for broth. And I will bring you back when it is time to show you the next step. All right, time's up. It has been 30 minutes. Now all we're gonna do is turn off the burner and walk away. Okay, so our pressure canner is cooled down. I cracked the lid, let it kind of come out for a little while longer at a slow rate so it doesn't shock all of the sudden. So now it's time to take our jars out of the canner. That's it. All of our jars look really nice. I did end up putting the extra jar in the canner with something else that came up throughout the day, so that's processing right now too. And I am really looking forward to using this turkey stock for all kinds of creative, awesome recipes. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Hamakua Homestead. I'll see you again soon.